classes, chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, and we are in the second division of the chapter 2. So let's quickly recollect the divisions of chapter 2. It is Gita. G stands for accepting the Guru, and I stands for identity, and T stands for two dharmas, and A stands for Atma Rama.
Rama.
So Atma Rama means a person who is in Krishna consciousness. How does he act? How does he behave? Basically, what are the symptoms of a person who is in Krishna consciousness? So we saw in the first 10 slokas, Arjuna, in the beginning of the chapter, he was overwhelmed with tears. He had tears in his eyes because he was totally indecisive. He did not know what to do and what not to do. Although he had all the skills to fight the battle, but Arjuna did not have the will. He had skills, but he did not have the will. So at that point of time, what did Arjuna do? He surrendered to Krishna. He accepted a guru, because a guru is the one who can remove the ignorance from us. Even the very first sloka we sing, Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So what does a guru do? A guru removes the ignorance from us. We are all in the darkness of ignorance. So Arjuna want to know, Yashreyasya nichitam bruhitanme. What is good for me in the long term, not in the short term? Arjuna could understand that current situation is so compelling for him that he was not able to fight. But there must be something in the long term. So many times, even in our life, at the current situation, we feel nothing seems to be working out. But that doesn't mean that things will be like this forever. There will be something in store for us. So that is what Arjuna is asking. And then, as Krishna has taken the position of the spiritual master, how did Krishna reply to the Arjuna's arguments? So what was the first argument for Arjuna for not fighting? Arjuna said that he cannot fight against his own friends and relatives due to compassion. And what was Arjuna having compassion for? What? Compassion for their bodies. So Arjuna was in the Dehatma Buddhi. So now Krishna will start refuting all the Arjuna's arguments. So although whatever arguments Arjuna put forward, it looks like he's a very learned person. It looks like he is talking like a pandit, like a very scholarly person, a very knowledgeable person. But did Krishna acknowledge that, or he chastised him? He chastised him. Ashoshan Anvasochaswam Pragya Vadamsha Bhashase Gatasuna Gatasumsha Nanu Pashyanti Pandita. He said, you appear like a pandit, but actually you're not a pandit because you are lamenting for the thing that is not worth for lamenting. Even for lamenting, the thing should be worth. Correct? But is Arjuna is lamenting for something that is worth or something that is unworthy? Something so here Krishna is refuting the bodily concept because body is not permanent. So the soul is permanent. So why are you lamenting for something that is temporary? So you don't have to lament for things that is not required. And in the next sloka, Krishna is saying, Natvevaham jatunasam natvam neme janadipa na chevana bhavishyama sarve vayamata param. I existed, you existed. I am existing, you're existing. You will exist and I will exist. So which means that the soul is eternal. The body is temporary, whereas the soul is eternal. And here Krishna is also refuting the Mayavad theory of oneness. So Mayavad think that as long as we are in the body, we are different. But when we get liberated, we get merged. Like how the river water, when it merges with the ocean, can you see the difference between the river water and the ocean water? Although the analogy is good, but it is not very appropriate. Because even within the river water, And even there are fishes and aquatics, and they continue to live there. There are varieties. Although they are one with the ocean in the sense that they have adapted to live under that condition, that doesn't mean that the fish became water. All the other aquatic animals became a water. Yes, oneness is there in terms of quality. Yeah, we are also a part and parcel of Krishna. Therefore, we are one with Krishna in terms of quality. But what about the quantity? Krishna is Vibhu and we are Anu. He is like an ocean and we are like a drop of water in the ocean. So we are not same in quality. So that is the thing which Krishna has refuted the Mayavad's theory of oneness by saying that each and every soul is an individual right from the beginning and will continue to remain individual, whether you're taking birth again in the material world, in any bodily form, or you're going to the spiritual world. In that case, what do we get? We get spiritual bodies. Like how we have material bodies, we also get spiritual bodies. But what is the difference between the spiritual body and the material body?
There is more Krishna conscious.
Yeah, yes, but spiritual body, material body undergoes changes from the birth, then to the young
it
age,
keeps
then
on
to the middle
changing
age, then
yes,
to the
keeps on
dwindling,
changing.
and then to the death. So there is 6 kind of transformation that is happening in a material body. But what about the spiritual body? Does the spiritual body undergo the same change which the material body undergo?
No, it doesn't.
No.
It doesn't.
It is
For
frequent.
example, Krishna is always 16 years old and Radharani is like always like 14 years old. And all the gopis, the young gopis remain in their age. The manjaris remain with their ages. And everybody will remain in the same ages. They don't grow old. They don't die. So that is a big difference between the both spiritual body and material body. For Mayavadis, thinking that, that we are the body means they are associating with klesha. So just the thought of one more body is bewildering. So they think, let me become one with the God. So Prabhupada said that is the last snare of Maya, thinking ourselves to be the God. We are all part and parcel of God and we are all the servants of Lord. Jivera Swarupa Hoy, Krishnera Nityadas, but we are not the God. And in the next sloka, Arjuna says, I understand that we are not the body. I understand that the soul is eternal. However, I am lamenting the change of the body. Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tata dehantara prapti dhirastatrana mukhyati. So Krishna is saying that like how the body is changing from childhood to the youthhood to the old age. Similarly, at the time of the death, the soul leaves one body and takes another body. Dhira. Dhira means a person who is a gentleman, a person who is a cool-headed man, a person who is sober. He will not get bewildered by such a change because this is also a change like how the body is. Right now also our body is changing. We are looking much different from how we used to look when we are 10 years old or 20 years old. So does that not mean that we have changed and our soul has changed? Our soul is the same. Whereas Dronacharya and Bhishma Dev, they are all the noble souls. So even if they leave the body in the battlefield, they will get a spiritual body, or even if they get a material body, in which kind of planets they will take birth again? Where does the pious people go? You don't make up to the spiritual world. You have done a lot of piety. Where do they go? They go to the upper planetary systems like Svargalok, Brahmalok, Tapalok, like that. You go to the upper planetary systems. So therefore, you don't have to lament because anyway, they will get a regimen body and they will have better facilities. So when somebody has better facilities after leaving the body, why do we lament? But Arjuna is saying, I do understand that, Krishna, but please understand that I am attached to the bodies. I'm attached to their bodies because they are all my relatives. They are my guru. Knowing that we are not the body, knowing that the soul is eternal, knowing the transformation of the body, but still I am attached to the body. For that, Krishna is replying in the text number 14. This is also one of the very, very important slokas of Bhagavad Gita, sloka number 13, that dehinosmin yata dehe, kaumaram yavvanam jara, tata dehantara prapte, dhiras satranam mukyati. And this sloka, matra sparshasu, which we will do, Prabhupada has quoted these two verses several times in many of his classes. So please try to memorize those important slokas. Okay. Dehinosmin yata dehe. Did everybody try to memorize this sloka? In the
Not yet,
last
Mataji.
class? Yeah,
Not
please
yet.
try to memorize. Every day when you're just listening, reading 4-5 times, in a week's time, you will surely understand. Or try to just learn one line of the sentence, like dehinosmin yata dehe. Just today, one day, just remember these two words. Dehinosmin yata dehe. Next day, remember kaumaram yavvanam jara. 2 words. Tata dehantara prapte. Third day. Dhiras tatrana mukhyati. Fourth day. Even two words, if you're trying to remember in a single day, by end of the 4th day, 5th day, you can memorize one sloka. Is it hard? Just try to remember two words of each verse. At least these important verses that we are doing, the Dehinosmin and Matras Parshasu, please try to memorize. It will be very nice even for you when you're talking with others, when you're trying to preach Krishna consciousness. If you can quote these verses, it will be very appealing. Because you're talking the words spoken by Krishna himself. That means Krishna is talking to them. When we are talking the translation or the commentary, we are utilizing our own understanding while talking. But when we are talking the verse, that means we are repeating the words of Krishna. Okay, so we will do today's verse. Please repeat after me. Matra sparshastu kaunteya.
Matra
Matraspashastu
sparshastu
Kaunteya
kaunteya.
Shitoshna sukha dukkata.
Shitoshna
Sukha
sukha
Dukkada
dukkha.
Agama apayino anitya.
Agama apayino nitya.
Tam titi shashva bharata.
Tam
Tamsiti
Sthiti
kasya
Bharata
bharata.
Matra sparshastu kaunteya.
Matra sparshastu
Matraspashastu
kaunteya.
Kaunteya
Shitoshna sukha dukkada.
Shitoshna
Shitoshna
sukha
Sukha Dukkada
dukkana.
Agama apayino anitya.
Agama
Agama
apayino
Nitya
nitya.
Tam titi shashva bharata.
Tamstiti
Tamstiti
sasva
Sasvabharata.
bharata.
Would like to do these words?
I'll do Mataji.
Yeah, please.
Matra sparsha shastrastu kaunteya.
Matra
Matra
sparshastu
sparshastu
Kaunteya
kaunteya.
kaunteya.
Shitoshana sukha dukkadaha.
Shitoshna sukha
Shitoshna sukha
dukkada.
dukkana.
Agamapayino nityasha.
Agama apayino
Agamapayino
anityas.
nityasha.
Tamsheti shwaha bharata.
Tam titi shashva
Tamsheti
bharata.
Bharata
Shall I continue?
Yeah, please.
Matra sparsh, sensory perception. Two only. Kaunteya, O son of Kunti. Sita, winter. Ushna, summer. Sukha, happiness. Dukha, and pain. Daha, giving. Agama, appearing. Apayinaha, disappearing. Anityaha, non-permanent. Tan, all of them. Tikishwaswaha, just try to tolerate. Bharata, O descendant of the Bharata dynasty. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress, and their disappearance in due course, are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, ocean of Bharat, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed.
Thank you. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikas Swami Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Vishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatade Satarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is one of the key verse in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna is talking about the eligibility for liberation. We are all looking for getting liberation from this material world, getting liberated from the cycle of repeated birth and death. But to do that, should we develop some qualification? Without qualification, without any eligibility, how can we get liberated? Is it possible? Even to get a job, we need to develop some qualification to get the job.
Right.
So similarly, we all are aspiring to go to the spiritual world. We want to end the repeated cycle of birth and death. So for that, we need to develop some eligibility. And what is that first eligibility Krishna is telling? Tolerate. So what are the two things that we need to tolerate? Tolerate happiness and distress. So sometimes it is more easy to understand tolerate distress. But what do you mean by tolerate happiness? Happiness is something to enjoy, right? Something you feel very good. What is there to tolerate about happiness?
It is like to remain
Balance with
undisturbed.
emotions.
Exactly. We should not be too elated when we become happy. And we should not become too depressed when we are in distress.
Right.
Because sometimes if you're too happy, if you're too proud about our happiness, about our achievement, and next time, if that doesn't happen, what will happen to us?
Will fall down.
Exactly the opposite thing will happen to us. Correct? The too much of elation. Okay, this time I came first. So I am very happy. Next time, when I become second, what will happen to us?
Distress.
It so happened in the IIT college when I was listening to one of the classes, the Prabhuji was saying that it was one of the students, he was trying to commit suicide. And when he was asked the reason why he is committing suicide, he said that I was always a gold medalist. And this time I got silver medal. Therefore, I cannot accept that I got silver medal. So I wanted to end my life. So we can understand how our tolerance level can go. Whereas there were other 4 or 5 boys who failed in 2 or 3 subjects and they were happily roaming. And when they were asked, are you not feeling sad? They said that it is our duty to enter the college. To let us out of the college is the duty of the college. Now it is their duty to get us out. So they were not worried about their failures because, I mean, that is how it is. See, you can see the tolerance level. Just because you couldn't get the gold medal, he was trying to commit suicide. So we can understand.
Mataji, recently, when we had these 10th and 12th results out a few weeks back,
Yeah.
so in news there was a family who celebrated, kids' 10th results, even when I think he flunked 2 papers. Still he celebrated, that it is okay, it is not a complete failure and
It's
all
not the
that.
end of the life.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think people are now moving towards that thing as well. Very
Yeah.
few.
Correct. That is true. That is what we should learn, to tolerate both the happiness and distress, which is good. There are people who want to die because they came second,
Yeah.
which is also not very good. Therefore, we need to tolerate both the happiness and the distress. So, which is not permanent. That is called agama apayino anitya. Anitya means not permanent and arise from sense perception. Matra sparshastu. When the sense come in contact with the sense objects, we feel some times happiness and sometimes distress. For example, in the summer, the cold is, we feel happy when we are having AC. But the same AC in the winter, how do we feel? The weather is already cold. On top of it, if you're entering the AC room, what will happen to you?
Torturing us.
It will be torturing us. The same heat, which is so soothing us in the winter, what does the heat do for us in summer?
Troubles us.
Troubles us. In the summer, when we are all trying to cook in the kitchen, is it so easy for us to cook? Already it is so hot. And in the kitchen, we use fire. Some 2-3 burners are going on. That will cause more heat. So will that leave us any comfortable situation for us to cook?
No.
But in
Not.
spite of that, should we stop cooking? Should we order Zomato and Swiggy and eat because it's so difficult to cook? No. What do? We learn to tolerate.
Tolerate.
And even in the winter season, like when you're going to like Kumbh, Mahakumbh, at that part of the year, the winters are very, very chill. And they try to take the snan in the Brahma Muhurta time, especially the Magha month. So is it so easy to take the bath during that time
No.
in the cold water?
Very good.
It is not easy because when the sense come in contact with the sense object, so what do we get? Sometimes we get happiness and sometimes we get distress. But still, why do we go ahead and take bath? Because it has a purpose. We have gone to the Holy Land, and by taking the dip, we are doing some religious activity that will benefit us. Therefore, we are tolerating that inconvenience, even though it is not going to be very easy for us. So we can see that these non-permanence, they arise from sense perception. So the happiness and distress, they appear and disappear. Today you may be happy. That doesn't mean that you're going to be happy the whole 365 days of the year. Today we are sad. That doesn't mean that you're going to remain sad for the entire life. So this happiness and distress, they keep changing because of the sense perception. And they are internal feeling, right? Happiness, if a person is happy within the heart, nothing can shake him around. It is not the place to search for. Happiness is within us. Correct. So these are all the internal feeling, the happiness and distress. They appear and disappear because of the sense perception. And even in the, you can all refer the 5th chapter. Please refer the 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, sloka number 22, where Krishna has spoken about how the intelligent person does not take part in the source of miseries which are due to the contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasure have a beginning and an end. So the wise man does not take delight in them. Ehi sansparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adhyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. A wise person knows whatever things that comes out of the sense perception, they eventually lead to distress. For example, we like gulab jamun. As long as we eat 1 or 2 or maximum 3 gulab jamun, we are okay. Because you like the gulab jamun, what in case you end up eating 10, 20 gulab jamuns? After that, what will happen to us if we end up eating so much? Because just that we like the taste and we want to eat more and more. We may develop some health issues, some indigestion, another thing. So whatever the happiness that you are coming, that is going to lead to the misery. So the wise men understand that that which we are trying to attain the happiness through the senses may eventually lead to the distress. Therefore, he does not take delight in them. So what does the devotee do? How do we satisfy our senses? Sarvapadi vinirmuktam tat paratvena nirmalam Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. So how do we serve our senses? By serving the senses of Krishna. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. By doing that, what are the two things that will happen to us? Sarva Upadi Vinirmuktam. We come out of all kind of designation. Tat Paratvena Nirmalam. And we become purified. So that is the right way to satisfy our senses, is to satisfy the senses of Krishna. How can we satisfy the senses of Krishna? By offering him a nice bhoga. We satisfy our senses by eating something good, isn't it? So similarly, how can we satisfy Krishna's senses? By offering him a nice bhoga. By offering a nice flowers, fragrant flowers for him. By chanting his holy names. By talking about his glories to others, by preaching Krishna consciousness, by reading about Krishna, by hearing Krishna Katha. By doing all these things, what do? We are satisfying the senses of Krishna. And then, when we satisfy the senses of Krishna, what happens to us? Our senses also automatically get satisfied. So, the key verse to Bhagavad Gita talks about how to tolerate without being disturbed. Here, Arjuna is disturbed. Why he is disturbed? Because he is attached to their bodies. But in spite of that, Arjuna is a Kshatriya. And does he not have a dharma? What is the dharma of the Kshatriya?
To fight.
Fight and to establish dharma.
Dharma.
To establish the righteousness. Therefore, Arjuna has to fight, knowing that the death of his teacher and his grandfather and his relative will give him moroseness, will give him unhappiness, but still what does Arjuna have to do? What is Krishna is telling to Arjuna? All you need to do is to tolerate. Krishna did not say that ignore. He knows that it will cause pain. The death of the near and the dear ones will cause pain. Knowing that we are not the body, knowing that the soul is eternal, in spite of that, the death of the near ones will still cause pain. So what is Arjuna supposed to do? He is supposed to tolerate. That is what Krishna is saying. So similarly, in our life, no matter whatever situation comes, what we should do? We should learn to tolerate the dualities. So in the proper discharge of duty, one has to learn to tolerate the non-permanent appearance and disappearance of happiness and distress. So when we are discharging our duty, sometimes we get happiness, sometimes we get distress. But what one should do? We should learn to tolerate. Even we are going to the workplace. Every day is not going to be the good day. Sometimes you will be so much being accused or being criticized about the work that you did. No matter you have done everything good, but your boss may not be happy with you. So he may be criticizing you a lot. In that case, so should we leave the work and sit in the home? Can we just stop working? What do? We try to understand his point of view, what is expected out of us, and we try to learn and we try to correct ourselves. Right? But sometimes, you have been so much being praised in your office. That doesn't mean that you'll be praised all the day. Correct? So dispraise and praise will keep coming and going. But that should not be a problem for us while executing our duties. We should execute our duties anyway. No matter we get happiness out of it or we get distress out of it. Examples, Mataji, Uma Mataji, would you like to read this? The PowerPoint, yeah.
According to Vedic injunction, one has to take his bath early in the morning, even during the month of Magha, that is for January or February. It is very cold at that time, but in spite of that, a man who abides by the religious principles does not hesitate to take his bath. Similarly, a woman does not hesitate to cook in the kitchen in the months of May and June, the hottest part of the summer season.
Yes, see, we could see that sometimes when there is a duty, we have family to take care. The family will be hungry just because it is going to cause a lot of inconvenience for us to cook. That doesn't mean that we stop cooking. We tolerate the inconvenience because we need to take care of our family. So similarly, in the Maga month, when you're expected to take the bath during the Brahma Muhurta time, the weather is already cold. So today we are trying to manipulate a lot. What do? In the summer? We try to use AC. In the winter, we try to use the heaters. Therefore, we are not even able to understand much about the difficulties that the weather can cause. Therefore, what do we think? The world is a nice place to live. Because what we are trying to do? We are trying to manipulate the situation. The desert, the very name desert means something that is abandoned. Today, the biggest desert in the world, Las Vegas. Is it even looking like a desert, or how does it look like? With so much of hotels, so many greeneries, because what did we do? We are trying to manipulate the situation, temperature and the situation. Okay, we are building big dams, but that can also disturb the ecosystem at some part of the place. When we are building the dam, whatever the habitants that have been living there, they cannot live there anymore. Correct. So we are doing a lot of manipulation so that we are learning. But in the end, what we are supposed to do is we are trying to tolerate the inconvenience. Today, even many women do, no? They don't feel like cooking. What do? They just order. People think Sunday means it's a day to be free. I've been working 6 days in a week. On Sunday, I just have to relax, just be in front of TV or do something and just relax and just order the food. So is this the right way we do?
No.
So these are the things that Krishna is giving, Prabhupada is giving us an example on how do we tolerate the dualities. Like how the summer and the winter, they keep changing. It is summer now, it will be winter later. It is winter now, it will be summer. So these things are not permanent and they keep changing. Similarly, happiness and distress, they come and then they go. So one should learn to tolerate both of them. So Arjuna must perform his prescribed duty. Lekha Mataji, would you like to read?
Yes,
Shweta
yes, ma'am.
Mataji. Yeah, please read.
Yes. Arjun must perform his prescribed duties. One has to execute his duty in spite of climatic inconveniences. Similarly, to fight is the religious practice of the Kshatriyas, and although one has to fight with some friend or relative, one should not deviate from his prescribed duty.
So yes, Krishna can understand that the loss of his near and dear ones will cause pain to Arjuna. But beyond that, Arjuna has a principle, a religious principle of being a Kshatriya. So for a Kshatriya to do his prescribed duty, what he should do?
He has to fight.
He cannot just give the reason that of the pain of losing the relatives and stop fighting. That means he will not be following the duty of a Kshatriya. That means, so that is not proper because Arjuna should perform. So why one should tolerate duality? Shweta Mataji, would you read?
Yes. Why one should tolerate duality? One has to follow the prescribed rules and regulations of religious principles in order to rise up to the platform of knowledge, because by knowledge and devotion only can one liberate himself from the clutches of Maya, that is illusion.
Oh, so what is important for us? At least one has to come to the platform of knowledge. Without knowledge, why we are all here? Because we are having some knowledge that we are not the body, we are the spirit soul, and we are having some knowledge that we are suffering in the world, and we are looking for that permanent happiness. So if we don't have the knowledge of Gita, if we do not know that we are not the body, we are the soul, then without that, how can we execute our prescribed duty? Will it be possible for us to do without knowledge? Therefore, the knowledge is very important. At least one has to come to the platform of knowledge. So that knowledge, where do we get it from? We get it from Bhagavad Gita. It gives us the knowledge of who we are. This is our identity. So the entire verse of the Bhagavad Gita, 700 verse, Krishna is speaking about the identity of the soul in 20 verses. To know that we are not the body and we are the soul. Unless we come to this basic knowledge that we are not the body and we are the soul, then whatever activities we will be doing, will it be helping us to come out of the clutches of Maya?
Yes.
Maya means what? Illusion, that which is not. Okay, we are using air conditioner in the summer month. But if the electricity is gone, if there is a blackout, what will we do? Will it be possible for us to manipulate the situation throughout? We know that the world is very uncertain. Recently, in the Air India plane crash, we saw that all the passengers who boarded, most of them were boarding with some hopes and with dreams of going to London, and some of them want to make a new life, some of them want to make their career like that, with so much of happiness and everything. We saw even few families, they posted their selfies and everything. And within few minutes, what happened to all their hopes? All their hopes got crashed. Because that is the nature of the material world. Krishna has labeled the material world as Duk Alaya Ashashvatam. Duk Alaya means what? A place where the Duk is glorified. Alaya means what? A place. Why do we say Vidyalaya? The place where the education is glorified. Pustakalaya. Why? There is a place where there are a lot of books or glorified. Duk Alaya means what?
Where the misery is glorified.
Misery is
Ashashvat. Ashashvat means what? Shashvat means
It's not permanent.
Ashashvat, permanent. Suppose I am going to a store and I am seeing something green and I did not read the label and I think that it is going to be a grape juice, and I just get it and I drink and I feel that it is too sour. And I'm shouting at the shopkeeper, what kind of grape juice you are keeping? It is too sour. Then the shopkeeper is telling, please read the label. It is not the grape juice. It appears like a grape juice, but what is written in the label? It is a Karela juice.
Karela juice.
And what is the nature of the Karela?
Bitter.
It's bitter. Because you did not read the label properly, you just got an appearance that it is going to be the grape juice and you drank it, but actually it is a Karela juice. Therefore, it is bitter. So similarly, Krishna has labeled this world as Duk Alaya, as Shashvat. And within this material world, what are we trying to search for?
Happiness.
Happiness and permanence. Like we think that, if we are getting a little bit bigger house, or if we are getting some promotion in our career, or if our husband gets something, everything will be sorted out. But are we ever sorted out in the life? But is it not an illusion? We think that we can manipulate the situation and we can adjust the situation and we can make things better. Are we not trying to do every day? What are we trying to do in this world? Every day, what are we trying to do? We are trying to manipulate or adjust the situation. Like the extensive use of air conditioning. What is it all about? Manipulating the weather. But what is this in turn causing to us?
Health problem. Health problem.
Today we see even the monsoons are not happening on time. In Mumbai, we got monsoon 1 month early this time, correct? Or the seasons are acting as per its time, or we getting anytime it rains, anytime it's sunny, anytime it is hot. How do we feel?
We feel
Because
distressed.
we are manipulating the situation. So we are thinking that to get happiness, we just want to make some adjustments and we need to manipulate the situation. Even if somebody is going to a psychiatrist, what does the psychiatrist does? Nothing. Just give you medicine and put you in kind of sedation or something like that, that you will be in that for lifelong. You know, so it so happened with my mother, like 4 5 years ago, my mother had a sleeping issue and everything, and they didn't even inform me, and my mother was going to a psychiatrist and she was taking some medicines. So that particular appointment, I went with my mother and I was with a psychiatrist. She didn't even ask a single word about her personal well-being. How do you feel? How you are? She just asked, are you able to sleep? Yes or no. According to that, she just prescribed a medicine. Imagine an appointment with a psychiatrist ended with less than a minute. So at that day, what I did for my mother is I said, please throw away all the medicines. And I got her Krishna book and I told her, you just read this book and you sleep. You'll be fine. And she actually did it and she came out of the medication. But if we are trying to say others who are suffering, you read Krishna book, you read Bhagavad-gita, are the people willing to accept it?
Not many, Mataji.
Not many, because Bhagavad-gita will give us a permanent cure for our material suffering. Even though we are living in the world, but we can live with the thought of liberation, because when we are not affected with the duality, then this world is also good for us. Correct? When we know that it is a dukkhalaya, there's nothing good that we can get for it. And whatever we get, we are just contented and okay with it. Will we get into depression? Will we have sleeplessness? Will we? So we should therefore try to internalize the teaching of Bhagavad Gita also. One thing is we are learning, one thing is we are listening, and third thing that we should do is we should reflect, we should internalize, and we should apply it in our life. Okay? So one should learn the duality. So now here, Krishna is calling Arjuna with two names. What are the two names he's calling with? Kaunteya and
Kaunteya,
Bharata.
Bharata.
So we always see Krishna was calling Arjuna in different names. In the first chapter, Krishna called Arjuna as Gudakesh and Partha, Bharat. So now why is Krishna calling different names of Arjuna? Is to reminding about his great lineage from which he is coming from. So Uma Mataji, would you like to read this?
Ji,
Mataji,
Mataji.
just 1 second.
Yeah.
What is the different? What is the meaning of Shashvat? You said.
Shashwat means permanent.
Okay, Shashvat is
Shashwat is not
Shashwat means
permanent.
Shashvat is
impermanent.
temporary.
Yeah. Yeah. Shashwat. That's what Bhagavad Gita leads us for, that permanent life.
Okay.
That permanent life that will give us complete happiness. And that is only possible when we are surrendering to Krishna. That's what Krishna says. Sarvadharman parityacha mam ekam sharanam vraja. Krishna said in the singular word, ekam. Ekam means what? Only to me.
Me.
Aham tvam sarva papebhyo. I will get rid of all your sinful activity. Moksha ishyami masucha. Sometimes people think when we are trying to distribute books, they say that we have taken non-veg, so we cannot touch the books. But if you know that eating non-veg is sinful, just by not accepting the book, will you become pure? If you know it is sinful, what you should do? You should not eat.
Mm.
So just because you didn't touch Bhagavad Gita, will that make you a very sane person? So I tell them, yes, if you know that it is, but read Bhagavad Gita. By reading Bhagavad Gita, you will become purified. So why are we distributing books all over the world in ISKCON? Don't we know that elsewhere in India, the people are all 99% non-vegetarians? So when we distribute Bhagavad Gita, Krishna book or Bhagavatam, it is expected that those people who are taking must have eaten non-veg. Correct? By default. So did Prabhupada stop distributing Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam to them, knowing that there won't be a single vegetarian over there? But what did they all become by reading Bhagavad Gita, by reading Bhagavatam? What did they all become? They become purified. And they became Krishna consciousness. So that is very important for us to understand. Therefore, this knowledge of Gita is very, very important for us for our own purification. Even I heard in one of the Bhagavatam classes, one of the person who was a drug trafficking guy because we know there is a book distribution happening by the devotees all over the world. So he took this book called Isha Upanishad. And after a few months, he got convicted and he was put into the prison. And his mother, she got some books that he had because anyway he is in the prison. He has nothing much to do. And he gave this book, she gave the book Isha Upanishad to him. And that prisoner, just by reading the first page of the Isha Upanishad, he became completely transformed. And he read the entire book. He came out of the prison and he is a full-time devotee now. So can you understand the potency of these books? How it can act? Therefore, we should not think when we are trying to distribute the books, is this person qualified or not? Will this person read or not? No. If somebody would have judged us, if we are qualified to take these books, maybe we would have never got. Right? So therefore, we should try to distribute this knowledge to everyone. So now we are coming why Krishna called Arjuna as Kaunteya and Bharata. Kaunteya, what does Kaunteya means?
Kunti's
Kunti's son. And
son.
let's take the life of Kunti Maharani. How was her life? At a very young age, she lost her husband. She became widowed and the responsibility of raising the 5 sons came in her hands. And even though there were family like Dhritarashtra, he is an uncle, he was supposed to take care of the brother's sons as his own son. But did he do that? Duryodhana was always envious of Pandavas, even in their childhood. If you read Mahabharata, we can understand that Duryodhana was always envious of Pandavas. So Kunti Maharani has to face a lot of difficulties. She has to go to the forest and the Lakshagraha, the wax house. The attempt was made to burn the wax house. And so many difficulties she has to face. Even before she gave birth to the Pandavas, because she got the boon from Durvasa Muni to utter the mantra and to invoke the child, she just want to know, will it work? And she did the prayers for sun god. And what did she get? She got a child and she's not even married. In Vedic civilization, in Vedic culture, unmarried women having child is considered to be very sinful. It will be such a disfame to the entire family, to the entire dynasty. The king's daughter has got a baby before getting married. So what did Kunti had to do? She has to let go her own child. Right? So Kunti has faced so much of difficulties and she tolerated. Therefore, Arjuna, you remember, who are you? When your mother can tolerate so much in her life, you being her son, why can't you tolerate? So this is what Krishna is indirectly calling him as Kaunteya to remind him, where do you belong to? Sometimes even we have to be reminded, right, who we are. Sometimes we feel lost. Even Hanuman, even though he had all the skills, because when he was small, he misused the power and he got a curse that he will forget all his skills until he is remembered. He's reminded. So during that time, when they have to cross the ocean to find out Sita, that time when Jambavan, when he reminded Hanuman of his power, then Hanuman could know his power and he crossed the 100 yojanas in one jump. But what did Hanuman had to be reminded? That reminder of Hanuman made him to jump the ocean, right? Because he had the power, but he did not know that he had the power. Therefore, he had to be reminded. So similarly, here Krishna is reminding Arjuna of his own
Family.
power, who he is, of his own qualification, from where he belongs to and how he should do. It's so silly that Krishna is telling to Arjuna, you're giving such reason for not fighting. Because Krishna wanted Arjuna to fight.
Fight.
Even though Arjuna had all the skills to fight, he did not have the will to fight. It can happen with us also. We may have all the skills, but we may lack the will to execute our duties. Correct? Skills and will, they have to go with together, right?
Yeah.
And other side, from his father's side, he belongs to the dynasty of Bharata.
Bharata.
Yeah, Bharata is a son of Shakuntala and King Dushyant. So you're belonging to such a great heritage. And when you come from a great heritage, which means you have to have great responsibilities. With power comes the responsibilities. Now, a prime minister cannot think that, okay, this is Sunday, I cannot do any paperwork or anything, even though there is war happening and somebody is coming with a report of what Pakistan is doing, and a prime minister cannot say, no, it is a Sunday, it is my off day, I cannot hear anything about the news of the country. Can he do that?
No. Has to be
If there
always
is an
available.
emergency, even if it is night 1 o'clock, he is supposed to act. He cannot scold others saying that, why are you disturbing me at 1 o'clock? Correct? So here, Arjuna being a Kshatriya, not only a Kshatriya, but a Kshatriya who is coming from the great heritage, from a great lineage. Therefore, he has to discharge his duty and he cannot avoid fighting. So even in our own prescribed duties, we are supposed to do our duties by tolerating the difficulties that we may undergo at home, at work, even in our own sadhana. Sometimes it might be very difficult for us. We may have pain, we may have back pain, we may have this pain, we may have that pain. And does that mean that we don't do our sadhana today? Okay, I'm very tired today, I cannot cook. Therefore, I don't want to offer any bhoga to Krishna. Can we do that?
No, we don't.
We don't do that. So we have to do our duties. Correct? If a child is having a fractured hand, you will tell the child, don't worry, beta, you take care. I will do everything to you. Imagine the same fractured hand has come to you in your left hand. Will you be sitting by the corner or you will use your right hand and you will do all the work?
Use the other hand.
Yeah.
And you will be doing all the work because you are having a great responsibility of being a mother. So what is given to the child with that small thing, it will not come to you because you know that your responsibility is much higher. If you are in a situation where you can tolerate little bit of difficulties, we will end up doing the work. Correct? Like waking up early in the morning is difficult. But by waking up early in the morning, what can we achieve? We are getting extra time during the day. Even if you are getting up 1 hour, 2 hours early, that means we are extending our time. We are utilizing more time of the day for ourselves. Yeah, we being in the spiritual path, we are chanting the holy names, we are doing Mangalarti. Another thing, even we know that CEOs, they have the 5 a.m. club. Why do they start at 5 a.m.? Because waking up early and just thinking about the day, that gives them a lot of clarity on how the day goes. If a CEO is waking up 8 o'clock in the morning and reaching his office at 9 o'clock, coming in front of into the all the traffic, eating something very fast, will he be having clarity to run through his company?
Will be chaotic.
Because he himself doesn't know what is right and what is wrong. So this waking up, but it is going to be difficult. Initially, when we are trying to wake up early, it is not going to be easy. It is going to be difficult. But what we should try to do, we should learn to tolerate the difficulties. Because in long term, that will become our habit. And when it becomes our habit, we can connect. Brahma Muhurta time is a very auspicious time for us to connect because all the devatas are there. They are there to bestow the blessings on us. Imagine we are trying to satisfy Krishna. And devatas are also the person assigned by Krishna to do various duty. The devatas, they also will help us. They'll be more pleased with us because we are trying to satisfy their master. So even we have to tolerate and try to wake up. Start at least waking up 15 minutes early. If you're waking up at 6, try to wake up at 5:45 and do 1 or 2 rounds of japa. And slowly, next, try to wake up at 5:30. Like that, 5 o'clock. At least try to wake up at 5 o'clock. It is very, very good to wake up early in the morning and do the spiritual practice, by which your advancement will be faster. Why do we do that? Because we want to advance in this path. We want to go back to Krishna this very lifetime. We don't want to come back again and again. Although Krishna says, Neha Vikrama Nasosti Pratyavayona Vidyate Swalpamapyasya Dharmasya Trayato Mahato Bayat. In this endeavor, there is no loss. Even we have done some bhakti, in the next life, Krishna will give all the facilities to further progress in bhakti. But why do we have to take many more lifetimes? And we see that Kali Yuga is keep on getting degraded. Day by day, it is getting degraded. Compared to our childhood, the current childhood is more degraded, right? And imagine the future. If we are taking birth again and coming in this world, is it going to be very easy for us? No. So better, that's what Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, the Guru Maharaj of Prabhupada, said that finish this business in one lifetime. Don't repeat. Don't go on and on. Just finish it off. Okay, therefore, when we want to finish off in this very lifetime, what we should do? We should learn to tolerate. Suppose we have learned, okay, I have to only take Krishna Prasadam. I don't want to eat anything. You're going out with the family in the restaurant, or you're going out with your friends to the restaurant. What you can do? You can avoid eating there, thinking that for your higher purpose, I need to tolerate this because I am going to eat some karmi food, which is going to contaminate my senses. Maybe you can take some juice, maybe take something and you can carry some small tiffin with you and you can eat along with them. Correct. So this is all kind of vairagya, renunciation. And to develop renunciation, we should also learn to tolerate. Without toleration, where is the renunciation comes? It cannot, right? So we'll just do a small summary of the sloka. So in this sloka, we saw that Krishna is talking about the tolerating the dualities. So I also took the notes on different type of tolerance. So I'll just take 2-3 minutes to talk about. You can also note down. So one should learn to tolerate the urges, the 6 urges, the 6 enemies. What are the enemies we have? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moda, Mada, Matsarya. Anger, lust, greed, pride, envy, and jealousy. All these 6 urges one should try to tolerate. Even if you are getting angry, try to tolerate that. Don't allow it to burst it out. pride. Even though you have come through a proud situation, just be balanced. Don't become too proud. Greed. There's no end in this world for whatever things we need. At one point of time, we should learn to become content with what we have for the higher purpose of life. What is the higher purpose of life we are having? Going back home, back to Godhead.
Krishna. God.
Like that,
Krishna
we should try
conscious.
to do. Okay. And then we should also learn to tolerate the dualities like pleasure, pain, happiness, distress, success, failure. Like that, we should learn to tolerate the dualities. And the next kind of tolerance is paramatsa. Tolerate the difference in opinion. When we are with different people, even within the family, within the friends, there will be always a difference in opinion. But to have the good relation, what we should do? We should learn to tolerate. Without tolerance, we cannot even have good relation. Even somebody went to Prabhupada and one of the devotees said, Prabhupada, I am having so many difficulties with this devotee, that devotee, like that. Prabhupada said, that is very good. At least the Mayavadi philosophy of oneness is lost. Every individual is different. We are all not one. Every individual is different. Therefore, learn to tolerate. Because everybody is serving Krishna in their unique way. We cannot expect other person to serve Krishna the way you wanted to be serve Krishna. Because every soul is an individual and they all have different ways to do. Therefore, we should also tolerate some things what others do. Some devotees also, sometimes they do. It may look, very this thing, they are devotee, why they are doing that? But they are chanting. They are also trying to be Krishna conscious. So instead of offending them or anything, learn to tolerate. Okay. So these are the ways in which we can learn to tolerate. Tolerate in the difference of opinion, and toleration should also be shown in relation so that we have a good life. And we saw the examples of tolerating the duality. What are the two examples we saw? Taking bath in the month of Jan-Feb and women cooking in the kitchen in the hottest month of the year. So these are the two examples we saw. And why prescribed duties are essential? Why do we need to do our prescribed duties? Because for our own spiritual advancement, the prescribed duties are important. Today, you cannot say that I want to be Krishna conscious. I have to devote all my time to Krishna 24/7, and we leave the home and go and stay in the ashram. Can we do that?
No.
We cannot do that because we have a prescribed duty of being a mother, being a wife, being a daughter-in-law. We have to advance spiritually, but by doing our prescribed duties and gradually detach from the bodily concept of life and allow to rise to the platform of knowledge. This will take time. We can theoretically say that we are not the body, we are the soul. But that detachment will not happen in one day. It will take time. So we have to constantly remind us about our goals in our life, about the thing. And gradually we need to get detached from this bodily concept of life, which is the Dehatma Buddhi. Because life after life after life after life, we are embodied. We are caged in the body. So we think ourselves to be the body. And then we saw the importance of Kaunteya and Bharata. Kaunteya is from the mother's side, son of Kunti, and Bharata is from the father's side. So Arjuna is being blessed from both the sides. He's coming from the greatest lineage. So one more time, can we please recite the sloka? Because it's an important sloka. I just want to recite one more time. Matra sparshastu kaunteya
मात्रा स्पर्शस्तु कौन्तेय
शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखदा
शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखः
आगमा अपायिनो अनित्यस्
आगमा अपायिनो नित्यस्
तां तितिशश्व भारत.
तां तितिश्वस्य भारत.
Anybody would like to try to recite? Shweta Mataji already did. Anybody else once would like to recite this sloka?
Mataji, I can try.
Yeah,
Mataji.
please, please.
मात्रा स्पर्शतु कौन्तेय
Matra sparshastu kaunteya
शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखः
शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखः
आगमा पापी
आगम
आगमा
अपायिनो
पापेयो
अनित्य
नित्य
आगम अपायिनो अनित्य
तां
तितिशश्व
तां स्थितिश्वस्य भारत.
ताम तितिशश्व भारत. Titishva means what? Tolerate. We should all learn to tolerate. That's one quality we need to develop so that we can become eligible for liberation. Without tolerating, we cannot advance even in spiritual life. Because everywhere, even in your spiritual life, you're coming in association with devotees. There also you will have difference in opinion. So if you are getting carried away with everything and you think, okay, even I come in the association just like that, better let me stay in the home and let me do whatever I can. Will that either help us? It will not help us. Therefore, this quality of tolerance is very important. And in the next sloka also, Krishna is talking about the liberation. It is somewhat in line with the same sloka, with whatever we did, because it's already 7:20. We will finish the class. Maybe next class, that sloka will not take much time because most of that thing, what happiness and distress, we have already covered in this particular sloka. Okay. So I hope all of you are doing the Ekadashi today?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
Yes.
So Ekadashi is a day which is very powerful. It is Madhava Tithi. So it is a day which is very dear to Krishna. So whatever we do today, the benefit that we are getting is multifold times than what we get on the regular days.
Regular.
But a devotee is not doing for the punya. We are doing devotion to develop love for Krishna or to develop punya and just to come out of sinful activities. What is the difference between an impersonalist, a Mayavad, and a devotee? Mayavad just wants to come out of the sinful reactions and just want to become one with the God. They just want to merge. But what does a devotee wants? A devotee wants to become the servant of Krishna.
Krishna.
Even a very advanced devotee does not even think about liberation. They think wherever I am, whichever situation I am put, let me be your devotee. Mama Janmani Janmanishware. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Sishtastakam. Life after life, let me be your servant. So that is the mood of a devotee. Now we'll do the Narsimha Pranam. Any questions did you all have from this sloka? Is it all very clear about this sloka?
Yes,
Yes,
Mataji.
If we
Mataji.
understand under what context Krishna spoke this, because Arjuna was still attached to their bodies. Therefore, his skin was burning and everything. Therefore, Krishna is telling Arjuna to tolerate. Okay. So I hope these 4 slokas that we do so far, is it clear? From 1 to 2.11, 1 to 13 and 14?
Yes.
Ji Mataji.
Because these are all very important slokas. Therefore, I'm going little slow because they'll be a good base for us to understand the whole Gita. Okay. We'll do the Narsimha Pranam. Namaste Narasimhaya Praladadayine हिरण्यकाशीपूर्वशता शीलटङ्कानकालाये हितो नृसिंहा परतो नृसिंहा यतो यतो
यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंहा
भगीरथो
बाहिर्नश्यामि हृदय नरसिंहो नरसिंह अहं शरणं प्रपद्ये
तव
तव
करकमलवल्लकमद्भुतं
करकमलवल्लका सिंगां
दलित
दलित
हिरण्यकशिपु
हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गा
केशवधृत
केशवधृता
नरहरिरूपा
नरहरिरूपा
जय
जय
जगदीश
जगदीश
हरे
हरे
जय
जय
जगदीश
जगदीश
हरे
हरे
जय
जय
जगदीश
जगदीश
हरे
हरे
जय
जय
नरसिंहदेव
नरसिंहदेव
जय
जय नरसिंहदेव
नरसिंहदेव
जय
जय
नरसिंहदेव जय
नरसिंहदेव
नरसिंहदेव
जय
जय
प्रहलाद
प्रहलाद
महाराज जय
महाराज जय
प्रहलाद
प्रहलाद
महाराज
महाराज
प्रहलाद
जय ला
महाराज
प्रहलाद जय
प्रहलाद
प्रहलाद महाराज
महाराज
जय जय
प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद
प्रभुपाद
प्रभुपाद
प्रभुपाद
जय जय
जय जय
प्रभुपाद
प्रभुपाद
जय
जय
जय जय
गुरु
गुरुदेव
गुरुदेव गुरुदेव गुरुदेव
गुरुदेव जय
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 गुरुदेव
गुरुदेव
भक्ति विघ्न विनाशक नरसिंह
सबका
भगवान की
बन
जय
की जय
भक्ति शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की
महाराज
जय
की जय
श्रील
श्री
प्रभुपाद
भगवद
की
गीता की
जय
जय
वाञ्छा
श्री भगवद गीता
कल्पतरुभ्यश्च
कतरूपश्च
कृपा सिन्धुभयेव च
च
पतितानां
पतितानां
पावनेभ्यो
पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
नमः
नमो नमः
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय श्रील
जय श्री
प्रभुपाद की जय
प्रहलाद की
भगवद
जय
गीता as it
श्री
is. Hare Krishna and wish you all a
हरे
very
कृष्ण
happy Yogini Ekadashi. Please chant what the maximum number of rounds that you can do. Utilize your entire day in the service of Krishna. Either hear about Krishna, hear to some bhajans, or hear to some classes, Prabhupada's classes you can hear. You can do some nice altar worship. You can decorate Krishna with nice flowers. Like that, Krishna consciousness is very versatile. We can satisfy Krishna by many ways, just not by one way. Somehow or the other, today, utilize your senses in serving Krishna
कृष्ण
fully. By doing so, definitely Ekadashis or those days which will help us to advance in our devotional service. I'm sure some of you who started chanting 16 rounds first on the Ekadashi, overall your number of rounds are increasing now, correct? Some of them
Yes.
yes
started
ma'am
with 16 rounds only on Ekadashi and now you're able to chant 16 rounds almost every day.
yes Mataji
And Krishna can eat anything. We are fasting, but for Krishna, we can also offer grain prasadam. So don't think that Krishna is fasting. Krishna can eat the grain prasadam. So you want to do some offering for Krishna and for your family members or eating. So please at least make a nice bhoga, offer it to Krishna. Even if it is not the Ekadashi one, you can do that. Okay, because some of them had the question on Ekadashi, can we offer the grains bhoga? Yes, Lord, we can do. And even for Tulsi, we can offer water to Tulsi on the Ekadashi day also. Okay, Mataji. So
okay
just because these are some of the questions where some of them have asked me personally. So I thought I will tell because this question might be also in the mind of many other devotees. So I thought I will let you know. Okay. Hare Krishna. Please
हरे
Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna.
माताजी
try to memorize these two slokas, 2.13 and 2.14. I will also post the sloka recitation of these slokas. Maybe next 10 slokas, I will post it. So, and at least 13 and 14 are those verses which is very, very good for memorizing and internalizing. Every day we need to internalize. Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya. This too will pass. Remember in one of the class, we told the story about the king who got the reward, who gave the reward to one person in the ring who wrote this too will pass.
yeah
So happiness or distress will pass. So let's not
pass
get too much worried about it or too much happy about it and just take everything equally and move on with our actual goal of the
Spiritual,
life, or the
yeah.
real goal of life is, use our real intelligence is, we are the servant of Krishna. Prabhupada said, either you will be serving Krishna or the Maya. We are servants anyway. Now we need to choose whether to choose Krishna or whether to choose
Or
Maya. So service is inevitable. So let us all try to engage ourselves in the service of Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.